My husband, Jake, 30M, and I, 27F, recently welcomed our first baby, Emma, who is now 3 months old. As most new parents know, it's been a challenging time, filled with sleepless nights and endless diaper changes. I'm on maternity leave, so I'm home with Emma all day, but I still need help from Jake, especially during the night. Jake works from home and is a huge gamer. He spends most of his free time playing online games with his friends. I've tried to be understanding and give him his space, but it's been hard when he refuses to help with Emma at night. I've asked him multiple times to take turns getting up with her, but he always says he's too tired or that he has an important game. Breastfeeding has been particularly difficult. Emma often struggles to latch properly, leading to painful and sometimes cracked nipples. I've had mastitis twice already, which leaves me feeling feverish and in intense pain. Despite seeing me in pain, Jake just laughs it off, finding it amusing. He never offers to help during these moments, even though I'm visibly struggling and desperate for support. One night, after I'd been up with Emma for the third time and Jake was still glued to his computer, I'd had enough. I went into his office and asked him to take over so I could get some sleep. He waved me off, saying he was in the middle of a game and that I should just handle it. He added, "You're on maternity leave and free all day while I have to work, so I need time to relax. You're just sitting around doing nothing all day anyway." I was exhausted and on the verge of tears. I needed his help, but he was completely dismissive. In a moment of frustration and desperation, I walked over to the router and turned off the Wi-Fi. That's when Jake completely lost it. He stormed out of his office, screaming at me. Apparently, he and his friends were in some sort of online tournament, and they were about to win when I unplugged the Wi-Fi. He called me selfish, irresponsible, and accused me of sabotaging his one form of relaxation. He went on to say that I had no right to interfere with his me time and that I should have just waited until he was done. I calmly explained that I needed his help and that our baby was more important than his game. He refused to listen and continued to berate me, adding that I haven't even been having sex with him and that we've only had sex 4 times since Emma was born. He accused me of wanting to take everything away from him while doing nothing all day and sitting at home on my ass. Jake never helps during the day either, even after he finishes work at 5 p.m. I don't expect him to help during work hours, but once he's off, he should be stepping up as a parent. Instead, he goes straight to his games, leaving me to handle everything alone. Since then, he's been sulking around the house, barely speaking to me. To make matters worse, his friends have been sending me nasty messages, calling me a crazy wife and saying I'm unreasonable. One of them even suggested that Jake should leave me because I'm too demanding. I feel like I'm losing my mind here, just trying to get a bit of support. I'm exhausted, and all I wanted was for Jake to step up and be a parent too. Instead, I'm being painted as the villain for wanting help with our newborn. Ida? Jake works hard, and I appreciate him, but his indifference to my struggles makes me feel so isolated. I spend my days and nights in tears, wondering if I'm failing as a mother and a wife. All I've wanted is for us to share the responsibilities of parenting, especially during those late-night feedings and diaper changes that leave me feeling so drained. I've been struggling with feelings of sadness and guilt, wondering if I'm failing as a mother and a wife. It's not about controlling his downtime, it's about needing his support during this incredibly tough time. I wish you could understand the depth of loneliness and frustration I've been feeling. Your words about me being selfish and immature hit hard because I've been questioning myself constantly. I never wanted to play the victim or make Jake out to be the bad guy. All I wanted was for us to work together as a team, like we promised each other when we decided to start a family. I'm sorry if my actions hurt anyone, including Jake and his friends. I was overwhelmed and at my breaking point. I'm trapped in a cycle of guilt, feeling like everything is my fault. I never wanted to hurt anyone, I just don't know how to cope anymore. I'm not trying to be selfish, I'm just trying to survive. Update 1. First, I want to say that I initially posted just to find out if I was wrong for sabotaging my husband's tournament. I ended up sharing a lot of context, and I never expected to receive such an outpouring of advice on other issues. But oh my God, your responses have been the best thing that's happened to me lately. Your words have had a profound impact on me. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much to all the mamas, dads, and everyone who offered their wonderful advice and educated me on postpartum depression, PPD. After reading everything, I immediately booked an appointment for the next day, and it turns out I do have PPD. I'll be starting therapy soon, and my doctor has also suggested joining a support group. I'm still considering it. I never thought I'd be saying this to random strangers, but I love you all so much. You've turned my life around. Thank you so much to everyone who informed me about tongue ties. I went to see a doctor for this as well, and it turns out my baby has a minor, unnoticeable tongue tie that was causing all the latching issues. I've scheduled an appointment later this week to get it corrected. Without your advice, I would have never known, and it would have continued to be a struggle. Yesterday, I was feeling so depressed, crying all day. But today, everything feels so much better. Each one of your comments made a difference. I've read almost all of your advice. Though I couldn't reply to every comment, I spent a lot of time reading and each one touched my heart deeply. Again, thank you so much, everyone. You are incredible. To everyone who'd me with their advice and resources like books, other subreddits, and websites, I am eternally grateful. I promise I'll reply whenever I get a chance. I saved a lot of comments because the advice was so invaluable. I'm amazed that so many people took the time to give me and my baby detailed, thoughtful replies. I'll try to respond to you guys whenever I can. I hope you all understand. About the sex thing, thank you to everyone who made me aware that this isn't normal. I had been feeling guilty this whole time, thinking it's already been 6 weeks and wondering why I don't want to have sex. Jake was gaslighting me into believing that my sex drive should be normal after 6 weeks and guilting me for not wanting to have sex. Each of the 4 times we did, I felt very uncomfortable, but I thought maybe it was just me. Now that everyone has shared how long their partners waited and husbands have told me how long they waited for their wives to be comfortable, it made me realize how much I've been pressured unfairly. Also, there were a few gamer people who trolled me heavily for what I did, but most of the gamer parents, especially gamer dads, came forward and shared how wonderful they are as parents and how gaming comes after their child. The first hour after I posted this, I was harassed badly, especially by this one person. His account has been deleted by the moderators now. But after that horrific hour, most people were so supportive and nice. I was thinking of deleting my post after all the backlash from some gamers and a lot of men agreeing with Jake, saying that just because I am on maternity leave, I do nothing all day and shouldn't expect Jake to help because he is working and I am being unreasonable for wanting him to help out more. But thank God I didn't delete it. It would have been the worst mistake. Trust me, you guys, it's not just about the advice but the emotional support you gave me in a day, sitting miles away from me. My husband couldn't even give that in 3 months, being under the same roof as me. This made me feel so much better, realizing how much I needed this support. Again, thank you so much, everyone. I still cry a lot and feel an overwhelming sense of guilt, like a heavy weight pressing down on my heart. There are moments when I feel like I'm failing as a mother and a wife, and the pain of those thoughts is unbearable. But, thanks to all of you, I feel so much better than before. Your words have been like a lifeline, pulling me out of the darkest depths of despair. Every comment, every message, has been a reminder that I'm not alone in this struggle. I can't describe the relief of knowing that there are people who understand and care. It's like a warm embrace that I desperately needed, and for that, I am very grateful. You've given me the strength to keep going, to fight for myself and my baby, and for that, I will never be able to thank you enough. Answering some questions asked a lot. We dated for 1 year and 5 months before getting married and have been married for about 1 year and 4 months. So in total about 2 years 9 months. Yes, it was planned and actually his idea. I wanted to wait at least 1 year after getting married, but he made everything sound so good, like we would be such great parents, and how we would do stuff together, and how happy everything would be. I didn't need much convincing. I got very excited hearing all this and had butterflies in my stomach. But now that I think of it, while we were dating, I remember him saying multiple times that it's his goal to get married and have a kid before turning 30. Emma was born a month before he turned 30, so maybe he as just trying to achieve his goal. A lot of people, mostly men, are commenting that what they believe happened is that we dated for a few months, got pregnant and had to marry in haste all within less than 1 year, and that's the reason he is being like this. According to them, I forced him into all this because I am a bitch who baby trapped him and he never wanted to have a kid, but this is far from truth. I work at a well-known USA-based company that offers 16 weeks of paid maternity leave. Maternity leave can be extended up to 22 weeks, but those additional weeks will be unpaid. I do make a little more money than he does annually, but I also have longer working hours. He usually works from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., with an hour break in between, so about 6 hours of actual work. No, he wasn't into gaming that much before. It was like 3 to 4 hours a day. After the baby came, he didn't game much for about a week, but after that, oh my god, he was gaming 24/7, even during meals and work breaks. Once, I caught him working on the laptop during his work hours and gaming with a free hand. He probably is cutting a lot on sleep just to game. It would easily be 10+ hours of gaming daily. No, he very rarely does. I do all the chores like laundry, dishes, vacuuming. Once, I threatened him that he must at least do his own dishes because I wouldn't do it anymore, and after that, he got a huge stack of disposable plates, spoons, glasses, etc. Honestly, I use those too from his stock sometimes because I'm just so exhausted. I do most of the cooking. He'll boil eggs at the most, and that too like 2 to 3 times a week. About 3 weeks ago, I was really mad at him because I had asked him to change Emma's diapers if she pooped while I was at my gynecologist for a follow-up. He didn't change Emma's diapers, so I didn't make food for him for 3 days. He ordered DoorDash for all the meals. That's why even though a lot of people are asking me to leave him with Emma for 8 hours, I don't know in what condition I'll find my baby when I come back. I was only gone for an hour and a half, and I came home to her crying and soiled while my husband had his headphones on. He claimed he didn't hear the crying. God knows how long my baby had been crying. I felt awful that night and cried myself to sleep, thinking did she start crying as soon as I left and cry for the whole hour and a half? Also, I have no idea what I will do after I resume my job, and I barely have 10 weeks to figure everything out. I haven't thought what to do about Jake as of now, but I'll let you know. A lot of people have suggested that I go to my parents' house or call my mill, but it would create a huge scene if I did. My parents, especially my dad, are very protective of me since I'm an only child. If he knew how Jake has been treating me and our daughter, he would take me home immediately and get me divorced, and Jake would be in serious trouble. He doesn't like Jake already. And if my male cousins found out, I can't even explain what would happen to him. They are extremely protective of me as well. It's not that I don't want to be with my family or get their help, but I would have to explain the reason, and I don't want to do this to Jake just yet. Many people have mentioned that Jake might have PPD too because it's unusual for him to change all of a sudden like this. I still want to hold on to hope after reading all those comments about how therapy changed their husbands, and even some dads coming forward telling me how they used to be like Jake and now they have changed. However, 2 to 3 dads also DM'd me, saying they are like Jake and told me to run as far as I can. One of them said he ended up beating his 6-month-old baby when he was crying, and another said he shook his baby. Oh my god, this terrified me. Jake is behaving awfully, but I think he would never do something like that. But after reading all this, I don't think I can leave Emma alone with him. I'll try to keep you all updated on how things progress. Sending love and gratitude to each and every one of you. Even if Jake decides to get therapy and changes, my dad will never let me try again with him. There's no way my family will allow Jake back into my life once they know everything. It hurts every day when I have to hold back my tears while talking to my mom, dad, and other family members. It hurts to lie to my parents, to pretend that everything is perfect when I'm actually falling apart. Sometimes I break down while on calls, and I have to cut the conversation short, lying that Emma woke up again just so they don't hear me crying. You don't know how much I want to tell them, how much I want their support, but I'm terrified of making a decision where there's no coming back from in such haste. I fear making a decision in haste that leaves no room for redemption or reconciliation. Update 2. I know this is a very early update, it's only been 5 hours since I posted my last update, but they have been enough to knock some sense into me. You guys are right. I am being an asshole here and not prioritizing my baby, so I need to get out of here ASAP. Oh my god, I read the comments, and I am overwhelmed. I've been crying hysterically again. Jake even shouted from the other room, asking if I could keep it down. You're right, he won't change, he is so insensitive. Realizing how foolish I've been has hit me hard. You all made me see how stupid I am for not leaving Jake and going to my parents, and how I am putting both Emma's and my lives in danger. The thing that moved me the most was when you told me to imagine if it was Emma being treated like this. Would I want her to keep quiet or tell me what's happening with her? That hit me so hard. I can't bear the thought of her going through what I'm going through. I've decided to talk to my family tomorrow or day after tomorrow. I need some time to think about what and how much to say to them so the worst doesn't happen, and my family doesn't end up in jail. They love me a lot and have been protective of me since I was a kid. I also need to find and upload all the recordings from the CCTV cameras to my laptop, which will help me with custody if we end up getting divorced. I need time to figure out the recordings and CCTV stuff, so I'll probably call someone for help. I'm thinking of doing this discreetly when Jake is sleeping because I am scared he might completely lose it. I know he probably won't even notice since he mostly sleeps between gaming and doesn't come out of the room. But then again, I have been an idiot about so much stuff already, so let me know if I should do it another way. Please, if there are steps other than the recordings and important documents I should take before telling my family and leaving, let me know, because I know once I leave I won't be coming back. I know I don't reply often, but I read your comments, and I promise I'll try to reply when things are better here. But please, I only have a little time and don't want to mess this up. You guys have scared the hell out of me with the possibilities of what could happen. You all are saying Jake will kill the baby and I'll end up doing a funeral for my baby. Please don't say stuff like that. That's just a very cruel and mean thing to say. I have already been so depressed and crying, and now it feels like I am drowning again. Please, please, please stop saying that I'll end up with a dead baby. It's very, very insensitive, even if you are saying this just so I would ask for help and leave Jake. Secondly, I know you must be thinking, why does this woman cry a lot? She is always crying, and she is pathetic, but I don't know what's happening to me. All I do is cry, and I wasn't like this before. I cried very little before giving birth, to be honest. I am just very overwhelmed. And to those who are saying bad things about my dad, calling him a psycho control freak with anger issues, trust me, he is nothing like that. He is actually a very calm person, but he is very close to me and extremely protective. Since I was little, he gets protective even when someone raises their voice at me. He is not a bad person, he just cares deeply about me. Thank you all for your support and advice. You've opened my eyes, and I'm determined to make things better for Emma and me. P.S. Emma just woke up and now she is just staring at me with her big blue eyes, and she isn't even crying. Maybe she is trying to say something, I don't know. Even this is making me break down in tears. I am back from where I began, I'm going crazy. I can't believe looking at her tiny hands, her little fingers gripping mine, that I was being such a blindfolded, idiotic bitch who was going to jeopardize my baby's life. The guilt and shame are overwhelming, and I feel like the worst mother in the world. Next story. Parents betrayed me, stepbrother ruined my life, but I found love and happiness through resilience and therapy, now facing awkward reunion. So I lost my mom when I was 12 to breast cancer. So that just left me and my dad. It was a tough time, but we got through it together. When I was 14, Dad met and married my stepmom Ashley, who brought with her my stepbrother Mark, 14, and stepsister Emily, 12. I got along with Ashley and Emily really well, but Mark, not so much so. He and I were always getting into arguments and fights. I was always told by my dad to give Mark a break because he's been the man of his house for a while. So this is all new. Like somehow it wasn't new to me? Anyways, when I was 15, I met a girl at school, Lisa, and we started dating. As much as one can date at 15. However, Mark apparently had a crush on her and was mad that I asked her out. He started a fight over it, in which my dad had to intervene once again. And somehow I again was made to be the bad guy. One day after my 16th birthday, my stepmom was putting away my laundry and started yelling. Which was awkward because my girlfriend Lisa was there. We all ran thinking the worst. When we got to my room, my stepmom was holding several pairs of my sister's underwear, yelling at me why they are in my drawer. I had no answer as I'd never seen them before. Of course no one believed me. No matter how much protesting I did. Then Mark piped up saying he always caught me staring at his sister, thought it was creepy, and caught me once saying I wish I could marry her. Obviously lying, but that was all it took. Lisa slapped me and called me a perv and told me we were done and walked out. My dad grabbed me by the arm and threw me out of the house. Yelling at me that he wasn't gonna put his daughter at risk from a perv, not the word he used, but you get it. I banged on the door to be let in, crying and telling them it was all lies told by Mark. My dad, apparently had enough. I heard the locks, he opened the door and shoved me to the ground and told me to get lost. I told him I had nowhere to go and he said that wasn't his problem, then closed the door. I found myself on the streets, with nothing to my name. No place to go. I tried calling my dad's parents, but he had already called them and they told me they won't help a perv. My mom's parents passed away before I was born. Well, I lived on the streets for 2 years, doing what I had to in order to survive. No kid should have had to do what I had to do, in order to just live, just saying. There were some really dark days. Lots of therapy later in life helped me with this. Shortly after I turned 18, I found a job working at a boxing gym, states away from where I began this horrible journey. I worked there for years. Learned the sport, never gonna beat Mike Tyson, but was good at the sport, which helped me with my hate and anger. Then one day met a new girl, May, 20F, at the cafe down the street from the gym. At this point I was 35, I know, huge age gap, but we just clicked. I don't believe in fate, or soulmates or any of that stuff like that, but if there is such a thing, we had it. Don't know how else to put it. We dated for 2 years and then got married. Her dad was an electrician and hired me on afterwards. I think mostly to know I would be able to support his daughter and know I was doing right by her, but also in case he needed to keep me in check. He never said this, but as a dad, I get it now. Well, 15 years later we are still together with 4 beautiful daughters. I just passed my master's license as an electrician. Thanks to my wife for pushing me to get my GED. She has been my rock, my cheerleader, my overall support through this all, and I can't tell her enough how much she changed my life and how much I love her. Anyways, sorry for the tangent. So just this last weekend, I received an email from my stepsister. Not sure how she got my email address, but I know it isn't hard via the internet, not like I've been hiding. Mind you, I'm now pushing 53, so it's been 30 plus years since I've heard from any of them. It was a long email. Not gonna give you all of it, but the meat of it is, they now know what really happened. Mark, I guess, was busy drinking with his buddies on Friday and somehow my name was mentioned. Mark, I guess, started bragging how he set me up and took my girl. Yup, Mark and Lisa got together, married, all those years ago. They were all laughing, hoping I died on the streets, bunch of rude and vile stuff. Guess he forgot Lisa was there and she heard it all. So she called my stepsister to let her know, and so Emily spent all weekend trying to find me. Like I said, the email was long. Short of it is, they want to apologize face to face, although it was already said in the email multiple times, and want to make up for lost time. I'm however indifferent to the idea. Like, I have no ill feelings towards her, she obviously was young and had no real say in the matter. But with lots and lots of therapy, I learned to let go of that hate and anger and to let go of them. As well, with all the love I receive from my wife, kids and in-laws, it's all I really need. I'm of the idea of just deleting the email and moving on like nothing happened. My wife thinks I should at least respond back, even if to say something snarky like, "Thanks for finally believing me, only took over 30 years. Did I mention my wife has a mean/petty streak to her? Lol. She's awesome. Guess not asking for advice, just wanted to share my story. There is a boxing quote that I have up in my house that reminds me every day. To see a man beaten not by a better man, but by himself is a tragedy. Update 1. First, I want to thank everyone for their kind words and advice. I wasn't looking for advice, just wanted a place to share my story. To those that gave me credit for overcoming everything, thank you. However, the wife thinks she deserves most of it, lol. And in all honesty, she does. To those that think this is fake. It's Reddit, I get it, it is what it is. Most things have to be taken with a grain of salt. I shared my story, I can't make you believe me. But that's okay, if my story resonates and helps others know they can survive, then I'm happy with that, and that's all that matters. Okay, for the update. Gonna post most of the original email as a lot of you have requested, kept out some deep personal info but majority of it is there. Might have to break it up due to character limit. Plus a response with the help of my wife. And also the help of others who made suggestions, which is good because I'm not that great at putting down in words how I feel without coming off looking dumb. She was able to make me sound less dumb. Lol, taking the family to the lake for the weekend to recharge and leave this all behind me. Update 2. Hey everyone, it's been a hot minute since I've stopped in and updated you all. First, want to thank everyone who's still been reaching out and commenting on my post. So just have a final update for you all. I know a lot of you worried about my former family reaching out after I asked them to basically let me live my life in peace. But thankfully Al has been quiet. I think my response made it clear they weren't family anymore and decided to accept it. Outside of that, everything has been good. Actually more than good. Found out we are having a baby boy. Although this wasn't planned, we are super excited as are the girls. Not gonna lie, I'm a bit nervous. I think my wife can tell, she just keeps telling me I'm a great dad and not to worry. And yeah, after this one, we are done and I'll be going in for the snip. In the words of Surgeon Murtaugh, I'm too old for this SHT, just wanted to leave you guys with a little dad advice.